The microscopic invaders? What are microplastics? Microplastics are tiny pieces of plastic. They are smaller than 5 millimeters, which is about the size of a sesame seed. Some microplastics are made to be small, like microbeads in cosmetics. Others come from larger plastic pieces that break down over time. This breakdown happens because of sunlight, wind, and waves. These tiny plastic fragments are everywhere. They pollute our oceans, rivers, and soil. Sadly, they even end up in the food we eat and the air we breathe. Their size and pervasiveness make them a cause for concern. The problem of microplastics is a relatively recent one. It's a consequence of our increasing reliance on plastic. As we use and discard more plastic, the problem of microplastic pollution will only worsen. A world awash. Where are microplastics found? Microplastics have infiltrated every corner of our planet. They are found in the deepest oceans and on the highest mountains. The most common place to find microplastics is in the ocean. Ocean currents carry microplastics all over the world. They accumulate in massive garbage patches. These patches are like plastic soup, with countless tiny pieces floating in the water. But it's not just the oceans. Microplastics are also in our rivers and lakes. They contaminate our soil and groundwater. The wind carries them into the atmosphere. They fall back to Earth in rain and snow. Essentially, nowhere on Earth is untouched by this pervasive form of pollution. The invisible meal: how microplastics enter our bodies. We encounter microplastics daily without even realizing it. They are in the air we breathe, especially in urban areas and homes with synthetic textiles. Our food is another major source. Seafood is particularly susceptible to microplastic contamination. Fish and other marine life ingest these tiny particles, mistaking them for food. When we consume seafood, we also consume the microplastics they have ingested. Bottled water is another surprising culprit. Studies have shown that microplastics can leach into water from plastic bottles. Even some fruits and vegetables have been found to contain microplastics, absorbed from contaminated soil and water. Section 4. A threat to our health: the potential dangers of microplastics. The long-term effects of microplastic ingestion on human health are still being studied. However, there is growing concern about their potential dangers. Microplastics can act as carriers for harmful bacteria and pollutants. These pollutants can accumulate in the food chain, posing a risk to both marine life and humans. Some studies suggest that microplastics may interfere with our hormones and immune systems. More research is needed to fully understand the impact of microplastics on human health. However, the evidence we have so far is enough to raise serious concerns. It is crucial that we take steps to reduce our exposure to these tiny but potentially harmful particles. Section 5. Unmasking the hidden enemy. Detecting microplastics in our bodies. Detecting microplastics in the human body is a complex task. They are tiny and difficult to track once they enter our system. However, scientists are developing new methods to identify and measure microplastics in human tissues and fluids. One promising approach is to look for specific chemicals associated with plastic production. These chemicals, known as plasticizers, can be detected in blood, urine, and even hair samples. Another method involves using advanced imaging techniques like Raman spectroscopy. This technique can identify the chemical composition of microplastics, even within complex biological samples. Section 6. Fighting back: dietary strategies for microplastic detoxification. While we wait for more definitive solutions to microplastic pollution, there are steps we can take to minimize our exposure and support our body's natural detoxification processes. Choosing a balanced diet rich in whole foods is a good start. Fruits, vegetables, and whole grains are naturally low in microplastics. They also provide essential nutrients and fiber, which can help to flush toxins from our bodies. Staying hydrated is also important. Drinking plenty of water helps to keep our digestive system functioning properly and aids in the removal of waste products, including microplastics. Section 7. Turning the tide. Reducing our microplastic footprint, reducing our reliance on single-use plastics is paramount. We can opt for reusable alternatives like water bottles, shopping bags, and food containers. Supporting companies that prioritize sustainable packaging and promote plastic-free initiatives is key. Educating ourselves and others about the problem of microplastic pollution is crucial. We can spread awareness through conversations, social media, and supporting organizations dedicated to tackling this global issue. By making conscious choices in our daily lives, we can all contribute to reducing microplastic pollution and protecting our planet and our health. Remember, every small action counts.